All right, you guys. I'd like to start off by saying Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Tonight's lesson will be called The Duties of a Family. Tonight's lesson will be called The Duties of a Family. Just going to somewhat piggyback off of Wednesday's lesson. Wednesday's lesson, we went over how to communicate with one another. How to communicate with one another / counseling. So a lot of the precepts that we did on Wednesday was precepts for like counseling, but how to communicate with one another. So now we'll piggyback off that lesson and do a lesson called Duties of a Family. But first, before we go into the precepts, go to Google and put in Pentagon, Pentagon, Pentagon stunned, STUNNED, as thousands of Chinese troops enter ISIS war. ISIS, ISIS. Pentagon stunned as thousands of Chinese troops enter ISIS war.
There's a handful of them.
It's probably the very first one. What is it? Should be the first one?
There's yournewswire.com or wideawakenews.com.
I think it's Your News.
Let me see. Yeah, yournewswire.com. Pentagon stunned as thousands of Chinese troops enter ISIS war. Go ahead and give them that, brother. Give them the date on that.
It says Pentagon stunned as thousands of troops enter ISIS war. Posted December 28th, 2015.
So just 2 weeks ago. All right. Go ahead.
It says the Siberian tiger.
Give this up here so they can see how it's going.
It says the Kremlin have announced that China are to send 5,000 of its most elite military forces into the Levant war zone.
So this article was posted on the 28th of December, which is 2 weeks ago. So it says that China has announced that they're about to send 5,000 of their best. That means right around now. This article is 2 weeks ago and it says that they announced that they are about to send. Usually it takes a couple weeks by what they say we're going to do. So like if Obama comes out tomorrow and says we're about to send so many people to Iraq, it'll take about 7 to 10 days before it actually happens. So this is happening right now as we speak. Go ahead.
And it reads, to help Russia in the fight against ISIS, which has left the Obama administration and the Pentagon horrified.
Why would the Obama administration and the Pentagon be horrified because China's sending their best men, their elite, to Syria? Why would they be horrified? Why? Because now you have China and Russia, which has Iran right around the corner, now surrounding Syria. And not only are they surrounding Syria, but they have troops on the ground. All right? So now they are putting themselves in place, in position to where once World War III happens, America won't have no fighting grounds. How you going to fight a war if you can't even get inside the circle? All right? Go ahead.
And it reads, the Siberian Tiger Special Forces and Night Tiger Special Forces units were given authorization to be deployed by China's People's Congress on Sunday after China passed its first anti-terrorism law, allowing their army to take part in anti-terrorist missions abroad. Says most critical to China in entering this war, this report continues, is the grave national security threat it faces from both the Islamic State and Turkey's National Intelligence Organization, and as perhaps best described by the Note Award-winning American military intelligence journalist Seymour M. Hersh, who in his latest article warned of this threat, stating, China, an ally of Syrian leader Assad, has committed more than $30 billion to post-war reconstruction in Syria. China, too, is worried about the Islamic State. China regards the Syrian crisis from these perspectives.
From three.
Three perspectives: international law and legitimacy, global strategic positioning.
Global strategic positioning. That's what's happening right here. China and Russia has a global strategic positioning. They're positioning themselves for World War III. They're getting ready. So it's like, say for example, if you have a 3-story building and you're going to have war inside of that 3-story building, you want to get to the top level if you want to have the best position. So if I'm going to have war against someone inside of a 3-story building, I'm gonna get my men stationed at the top on the first 2 levels, and then when the enemy first comes in on the first level, they have no chance. They have no chance. We will take them out so quick because we're on the top. They can't see us, but we can see them right when they come in. So that's what China and Russia are doing. They are positioning themselves. That way, when World War III happens, America's going to try to come in to the east like big bag America like they always do, and they're going to be out positioned. And this is why they're going to lose this war. Go ahead.
And it reads, and the activities of jihadist Uyghurs from Xinjiang province in China's far west. Xinjiang borders 8 nations: Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. And, in China's view, serves as a funnel for terrorism around the world and within China. Many Uyghur fighters now in Syria are known to be members of the East Turkestan Islamic movement, an often violent separatist organization that seeks to establish an Islamic Uyghur state in Xinjiang. The fact they have been aided by Turkish intelligence to move from China into Syria.
Go ahead and skip down. Let's get to this. Skip down to the next paragraph. Though the
U.S. corporate propaganda media continues to blackball from the American People's Hersh bombshell article, this report notes 2015 has become the year Russia exposed the barbaric nature of Western powers.
So it tells you that last year, 2015, Russia exposed the weakness of the Western powers, which is Rome and the United States. Russia has exposed that these individuals, these countries, are weak. And now that we know they are weak, we're going to position ourselves to where now we're going to take over. Because before now, America, dealing with /Rome, ran the world. And they would always put sanctions on Russia, Iran, places like that. But now Russia has exposed, y'all can't do nothing to us. You know, over the last year and a half, America and the West, Rome, tried their hardest to stop Russia, putting sanctions on them left and right. Y'all can't buy oil. Y'all can't deal with the banks. Russia went out with Iran and China and started their own currency, started their own banks. And once they realized they could do that and nobody could stop them, now they say we have exposed y'all. Y'all are weak. Y'all are nothing now. Now we are going to take over. Go ahead. From their criminal.
From the criminal conspiracy for regime change in Syria to aggression against Yemen, Iran, Russia, China, and any country that does not toe the line, and has also exposed for the entire world to see that the Obama regime's fight against the Islamic State has all been pretended.
So Obama, y'all been faking what y'all been doing. Y'all are nothing. So now we're gonna bring our boys in along with China, along with Iran, and show y'all how to do this. Show y'all how to take out ISIS. Show y'all how we're gonna position ourselves, take out ISIS, and then after we do this, we're gonna take over the entire world. Because you guys are nothing. Fake. Go ahead.
And it reads, and with the Obama regime reported to be scrambling to come up with new lies to tell the American people about this war, this report says.
So it tells you that Obama and them have been lying, coming up with scrambling to give information to the American people and not telling the truth. What's the truth? We're getting ready for World War III. China and Russia and Iran are coming together and position themselves because we're getting ready. But on our news, when you watch our news and everything, they've been lying, talking about, oh, America and China is coming together to fight ISIS. No, they're not. Russia and China are coming together to take America out and position themselves so when America tries to get big and bad and come fight back, it's going to be too late. Go ahead.
And it reads, they may end up inevitably starting World War III.
No, this report says one person in that government. So after you said the Obama regime reported to be scrambling new lies to tell the American people about this war. Go ahead.
It says, this report, only one person in that government, U.S. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, just weeks ago warned the American public that not only is the Obama regime lying to them, they may end up inevitably starting World War III.
So now you have someone that finally came out and said Obama and them are lying about what's going on over in the Middle East. And said that through their lies, they are going to start World War III just through their lying and their deception to the people. Go ahead.
And it reads, echoing Congresswoman Gabbard's fears, this report further notes, is billionaire investor George Soros, who warned the Obama regime this past summer that China might use the Levant war to mask its mounting economic problems, and stated, should the external conflict escalate into a military confrontation with an ally of the United States, such as Turkey or Japan, it is not an exaggeration to say that we would be on the threshold of a third world war.
So she said it twice in two paragraphs that World War III is on this way. But she said one of the things to look out for is, she said she wouldn't be surprised if China used the Levant war, what's that? To mask the mounting economy problems that they're having. What was just happening in the economy world just a week or so ago? Anybody know? China's stocks dropped so tough. And not only did their stocks drop so tough, they said, hey, we will not allow, leave that in there, we will not allow trading. So China just a week and a half ago said their stocks dropped heavy. And then not only did it drop, they said we will not allow trading, because usually once stocks drop, other countries start making trades and doing trading to where now they can find a way to cover up their money. So China not only let their stock drop, but then they told the rest of the world we will not allow trading. And so now that China was getting hit hard, what was America doing? Scrambling and in fear that, hey, this is the worst start of the year when it comes to stock exchange. That's what they were saying. We have never seen anything like this. And it all started because of what China had allowed to do. So she's basically telling you that one moment China ain't going, usually in this type of business, you have to warn other countries and other business partners, hey, we're struggling on our end. So, hey, you might want to trade or get that up out of there so you don't lose so much money. Go invest it in something else. But as she said, China's going to use a tactic of war to where they're going to let the economy fall and not warn no one else. Because everything right now is coming through who? China, not America anymore. So she's right on point when she's speaking what she's speaking. All right. We're not going to read this whole thing. You have the information out to where you can read it yourself. But I just wanted to go into it and give you the information. I continue to give you information week by week, pattern by pattern. The Spirit says show it to them so you can see what's happening. We first talked about the Pope and the Queen of Elizabeth talking about last Christmas and why they thought it was and why. This is why they're speaking like this, because they know all this what we're talking about backhand. They know about it. It's right in their lap. This has been a blueprint that's been in their lap for years. Years and years, they've been knowing that this moment is going to come. And then plus, you know what? They're not ignorant. They know prophecy. We're the only ones that don't know prophecy. We're learning now. We're waking up. But they've been knowing the prophecy on end times and on this for a long while. Let me show you. Go to Revelation 16 and 12. Go to Revelations chapter 16, verse 12. So, America is horrified that China is now sending 5,000 of their elite men into Syria. Now, that's not going to stop. They're going to send 5,000. And then a month or so later, they're going to do what? Send a few more thousand. And they're just going to keep going, keep going, and keep going. All right, but according to the scripture, this is prophecy. And once you start understanding the prophecies of the Bible, then you'll start preparing yourself. Once you realize the prophecy of the Bible is true and that it's going to happen, you will start preparing your soul. That's why the Spirit has been coming to me and telling you, stop messing around. Stop with all the fighting. Stop with all the ignorance, the foolishness, because we don't have time. You're going to get caught in your ignorance, and this is going to, boom, one day this is going to happen, and you're going to be in your ignorance, and it's going to be too late for you to pull yourself out of it. I promise you. Continue to walk in the ignorance. We are here now. I continue to tell you, we are here now in the time to where there's no more reason to find a reason to be upset with someone, or to find a reason to be the way you want to be. We're far past that. They are aligning and positioning themselves right now for the big boom. And this is going to be the biggest one of all time. And if your spirit is on the wrong side, you're going to get caught on the wrong side. Revelation 16 and 12. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Revelations, chapter 16, verse 12. And it reads, "And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared."
So it tells you, when the sixth angel poured out his vial in the great rivers of Euphrates, we already know the great rivers of Euphrates is right over there in that area, right next to Iran, Syria. We didn't already broke it down, right? It comes down, the great river of Euphrates comes down from Syria down into Iraq. All right? And it tells you in the great rivers of Euphrates, the kings of the east are preparing themselves. That's what it just read right here. So in Syria, Syria starts the top of the great rivers Euphrates. And all the kings of the east, Russia, China, and Iran, are starting to position themselves in the great rivers Euphrates. That's clear cut. Read it again, brother.
We're in the book of Revelations, chapter 16, verse 12, and it reads, "And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared."
Kings of the east are getting ready. And guess what? There's only 7 angels pouring out their vows. Read and read verse 17.
Verse 17. "And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven, from the throne, saying, It is done."
It's done. So the 6th vial is being poured out by the 6th angel, which is what we're speaking of today. This Pentagon stuff with these Chinese troops and the Russian troops. They are preparing themselves. And then there's going to be World War III, and sooner or later, someone's going to set off the nuke, and another one's going to go, and then it's done. It's going to be done. And if you don't have yourself in order, you just never know. You can be walking in your foolishness, and next you know, Iran can just say, you know what, we ain't going to even wait. We're just going to send a nuke to America right now. And if you're walking in your ignorance, you won't even have time to change. Because once the button is pushed, you got about 2 hours at the most. So it's time to get correct. All right. So tonight's lesson is called The Duties of a Family. It will go in hand with Wednesday's lesson, so you can learn how to get your house in order. The house has to be in order for everyone under the roof to be saved. If the house is not in order, then someone in the house is not going to be saved. I said it on Wednesday. It's already going to be a shame when you go to Hades and you go to the paradise and you see family members like cousins, moms, uncles, dads sitting in the place of torment. That's going to hurt your feelings when you see them. But then you're going to say, hey, you know what? I did everything I could to get them over here in the paradise. But you know what's going to really hurt is when you go down to Hades and you're in paradise and your own daughter or your own spouse is sitting in hell in the place of torment. And you can see them because you didn't get the whole house in order. You only got yourself in order and left the rest of the house out to where now you're in the place of paradise and they are in the place of torment. That's what's really going to kill you. Seeing uncles, cousins, and all them over there, yeah, it's going to hurt you, but it's not going to be the same when you see your own that came from you sitting over there. Titus 2 and 3. So all I can do is give you the information. Whether you take the notes, whether you follow the information, it's on you. I'm giving you whatever you need to save your soul. That's how important it is. Now, if you don't want to take it serious and do so, guess what? Everything has 2 sides. Just like there's a male, there's a female. Just like there's good, there's evil. There's a heaven, there's a hell. And somebody's got to go to one, and somebody's got to go to the other. Just like some people got to do good, some people got to do bad. So it's going to happen, regardless. If you want it to happen or not, it's going to happen. Some people say, "Well, you know what? I don't believe in all that. Well, I don't believe in hell like that. I don't believe God is going to make people burn, and that's going to happen." Just because you don't believe it does not mean it's not going to happen. I promise you. Hold our spots in Titus real fast. Go to Go to Romans 3. Just because you don't believe that it's going to happen does not mean it won't happen. We're talking prophecy here, according to these scriptures. And these scriptures say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Read Romans 3 and 3.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3, and it reads, "For what if some did not believe?
So what if some of these people don't believe what the Bible is saying? Go ahead.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of a higher without effect?
So just because they don't believe it, their unbelief, does it make the prophecy of the Bible ineffective? Verse 4.
Most High forbid.
No. Forbid means no. Go ahead.
Yea, let a higher be the truth, but every man a liar.
So if you want to believe in a man, if a man tell you, that ain't gonna happen. People ain't gonna go to hell. Everybody gonna go to heaven. Everybody gonna do good. So you don't gotta change your ways. You don't gotta get better. Everybody's gonna be saved. It said, let the Most High be true and every man a liar. So just because someone does not believe what the scriptures are saying does not mean that it's not going to make it not come true. The prophecy of the Bible will come true. Titus 2 and 3, just like we read right now in Revelation 16 and 12, it's coming true. It's coming to pass. What that scripture is saying is happening right now as we speak. The kings of the east are starting to prepare themselves. Titus chapter 2, verse 3. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 3, and it reads, "The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things."
So it says the aged woman is to be teachers of good things. And she's to become holiness. All right? She's to become holiness. Very spiritual. That's what holiness means. She needs to become very spiritual. And teachers of good things. Verse 4.
Verse 4, "That they may teach the young woman to be sober."
So now they can teach the younger women, which is their daughters, their nieces, their cousins, whoever. Now they can teach the younger women how to be holy. Go ahead.
"To love their husbands, to love their children."
So now they can teach the younger women how to love their husbands, because the aged woman, she's holy. She knows how to love her husband. She knows how to love her children. So they go out and teach the younger ones how to do it also. Verse 5.
Verse 5, "To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed."
Let's break these words down. Give them discreet first.
We have the word discreet, and it is G4998. G4998, and the word is sophron, and it's spelled SOPHRON, and it means self-control, temperate.
So discreet means self-control, temperate. That means she don't never have a temper. She's never out of control. Yelling, acting a fool, speaking things that she ought not to be speaking, like we talked on Wednesday. She's always in control. There's not many sorries coming out of her mouth. Why? Because she's under control. She ain't always saying I'm sorry to her husband 3 to 4 times a week because she done got out of line. Now she has to go find herself and apologize. No, she's always in self-control. Now, when she does get out of line and she gets reproof, then that's when she say sorry. But it's not happening a few times a week because she's got out of line and got out of control. No, she's very discreet. Go ahead.
We have the word chaste, and it is G53, G53, and the word is hagnos, hagnos, and it is spelled Hagnos, and it means clean. That is, figuratively innocent, modest, perfect, pure.
So Chaz means clean. She's clean. Not only is she clean, but she keeps her house clean. Everything is she's clean. She's modest. She's innocent. Who's innocent? Someone that doesn't do wrong. Someone that doesn't do wrong, someone that you can't say, oh, okay, you did that. Someone that's not innocent is what? Guilty. Okay? So if she's guilty of doing wrong, then she's not innocent. So innocent, perfect, pure. Next one.
We have the words keepers at home,
Keepers at home.
and it is G3626. G3626, and the word is oikuros, akuros, and it is spelled Oikours, and it means a guard, beware, a stayer at home,
A what?
a stayer at home, good housekeeper.
So keepers at home is someone who watches the house. A guard. A stayer at home. A good housekeeper. Housekeeper in the Webster means a man or woman, but the scriptures right here is talking about a woman. Housekeeper is a woman who maintains a family state in the house. That's her job. A woman's job is to be the housekeeper, and she maintains a family's state. State means well-being in the house. So now that we have those words, let's break it down. Titus 2:5 says, to be, well, let's read 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be self-controlled, clean, obedient to their husbands, clean, stayers at home, good housekeepers. So if they're good housekeepers, the house is clean. They're clean. Good, obedient to their husbands, that the word of Ahiah be not blasphemed. What does that mean? So if she's doing her part as a woman to be self-controlled, stayers at home, taking care of the house, now the word of the Most High won't get taken out of context. Now there won't be no arguing, no yelling, no ignorance. Because she's doing her part to where she's obedient. She's self-controlled. There's no tempers. There's no moods. When you got moods and tempers, now things are going out of control, just like we talked about on Wednesday. You can't conversate with someone when you already have a motive. How you gonna conversate with your spouse when you already got a motive in the back of your head? I'm already thinking this today. Yeah, as soon as he get home, I can't wait to bring this up to him. And then he come and be like, I want to talk. He be like, well, I can already see this ain't gonna go the right way, so why do I want to talk? Because you already got a motive. So no matter what's being talked about, you already got a way the way you feel. So now the Most High's word is going to be taken out of context because things are not done right. All right, she's a good housekeeper. She's self-controlled. Go to Luke 11:24. So we're talking about the duties of a family. And a woman, she needs to become holiness, which is a spiritual woman, to where she can teach the rest of the kids. She can teach the children how to be holiness. See, I done heard too a lot of women say, you're supposed to teach the kids. No, the man ain't. The man is to teach the house, teach you, and then your job is to keep the kids in order. He teaches y'all as one, then he teaches you, and then your job is to keep the kids going. That's a woman's job. But she has to become virtuous herself, because if she don't become virtuous herself, now she can't. How she gonna teach kids when she ain't even virtuous? How she gonna teach the kids to walk in the right way when she don't even know how to stay self-controlled and walk in the right way? But if she's self-controlled, she's doing everything she's supposed to according to the scriptures, it's easy to teach the kids. I promise you. The man's job is to learn and study in himself, teach as a whole, teach you more, and then you go teach the kids. Luke 11:24. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 24, and it reads, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest.
So when a man is trying to do good, the unclean spirit is gone from him. Now he has the clean spirit. He's doing whatever he can. He walketh through dry places looking for rest. He's supposed to have rest. Once a man changes, he sacrifices to the Most High. He's changing, trying to get rid of Satan, getting rid of the unclean spirit. He's changed his life, trying to become clean and pure. So now once he do that, he's looking for a place of happiness and rest so he can stay in that spirit. Go ahead.
And finding none.
And finding none.
He saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out.
So I'm going to go back home then. If I can't find rest, I'm going to go back home. Why? Because his house is supposed to be his place of rest. That's where a man, if he can't get rest nowhere else, he should be able to go home and get peace. But we already know that ain't happening, because we broke that down on Wednesday when David said he was so overwhelmed with what was going on in his house, he wished he could have wings to fly away and go to the wilderness. That's what David said. We read it on Wednesday. So we already know through the scriptures that that's not happening. But it says right here, when a man is looking for rest, he turns to go back home, because that's where his rest should be. He should be able to go home and be happy, and there should be rest. Verse 25.
Verse 25. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished.
So when he comes home, he finds the house clean. Why? Because the woman is the keeper of the house. When he comes home, he finds the house swept, which is clean, and garnished. Garnished means decorated. Everything's in order. It's in order. It's not out of control. A man don't want to come home and the house is dirty. He's stepping over things. Pillows on the floor. Couch cushions. One is in the kitchen. Bed. The mattress halfway hanging off. He like, where can I just chill? He's looking for rest, and when he cometh, he findeth the house swept and garnished. Means it's intact. It's in order. It's clean. Everything is intact. He's not stepping over things. He can come in and chill. That's how it's supposed to be. So, go to Proverbs 31:10. So I'm giving you the information on how to be this virtuous woman. This woman that the Bible speaks of. But if you can't do these small things that we just went over right now, you can't call yourself a virtuous woman. If you can't keep the house clean, if you can't be discreet, which is self-control, if you can't be chaste, which is clean, if you can't teach the children how to be holiness, and everything we're talking about right now is holiness, which is even staying clean. You have to teach the kids how to be clean. You have to teach them how to be clean also. That way, there's not an excuse why the house is not clean. You can't blame it on the kids. You can't say, well, the kids are always, no. Teach the kids how to be clean, and now the job is easier. But if you don't teach the kids how to be clean, and you're the only one trying to run behind the kids day in and day out and clean, you're going to have a problem. And what's going to be the problem? A messy house. Because you ain't teach the kids how to be clean. So now you just spent most of your life masking wrong what the kids do. When they was this big, you should have been teaching them how to clean. Look, when they was this big, they 7 years old, 8 years old, and they mess up, and then you go behind them and clean it up. Why? Because you feel bad on making your kids clean or something. Then they get this big, which is 10, 11. You can still do it. It says like, nah, you get in there, give them chores, give them duties, you clean up. Not no, oh, okay, yeah, you go behind the kids and clean up. And now you're going to have a fight on your hand the older they get. You're trying to make them clean. They clean when they want. They don't. It's just going to put more burden on the woman of the house because now she's got double duty trying to clean at the man and then all these kids. That's why it says teach the kids in Timothy, Titus, where we just at, on how to be the same way. That's what a virtuous woman's job is. That's what her duties is. We're going over her duties. And we'll get to the man's part. Proverbs 31:10. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10, and it reads, who can find a virtuous woman?
So it's a question mark, and that question mark is big. That question mark is there for a reason. Who can find a virtuous woman? Go ahead.
For her price is far above rubies.
It's hard to find a virtuous woman. Many women claim that they are a virtuous woman, but a virtuous woman comes with many things that needs to be done. And we've gone over part of them so far. And you might as well tag Wednesday's lesson onto this one because you got to do those things that we spoken on Wednesday to become a virtuous woman also. It's so many things you got to do. That's why I asked a question mark. Who can find one nowadays? Because you can't. It's hard. Verse 11.
Verse 11. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
So the husband should be able to trust in his wife no matter what, that there's no need of spoil. There's no reason to bring up something that will put the house in a bad mood. He will never confront her with something that puts the house in a bad mood because he trusts her because of the way she operates. You have to understand, it is the home that a man's strength is gathered. The man gathers his strength when he comes home. When everything is put in order, this is how he gathers his strength. And once he gathers his strength, now he can go back out into the public and handle his affairs and do what he needs to do on a daily basis because he got his happiness, his rest, and his strength from home. But if he's not getting that from home, now he's going out into the public, into work, and now he's discombobulated. His spirit is thrown off. The next you know, he does something to where he gets fired. Or he rubs someone the wrong way. And now he's coming home like, I got a job. You're like, what? He gets his strength from a happy home, from gathering rest, and a virtuous woman. That's a man's resting place. Verse 12.
Verse 12. We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, and verse 12. And it reads, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
So all the days of her life, she will treat him good. Regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on, she will do him good. There will not be no moments where she's going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to treat him good today, but tomorrow I'm going to tell him what I got to tell him. Just like we said the other day, there is no, let me find it. Hold your spot there and go to James 3:11. Hold your spot and go to James 3:11. So she does him good, regardless of how she feels, regardless of what's going on. She does him good all the days of her life. James 3:11. Go ahead.
We're in the book of James, chapter 3, verse 11, and it reads, doth a fountain send forth all the same at the same place, sweet water and bitter water?
So it says, do a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter water? No. A fountain is either going to have this type of water or this type of water. A fountain don't have a switch to where it's going to bring sweet water and then salty water. So what it's asking is, you can't have a mouth to where one day you're telling your husband, hey, I love you, you're my king, and then the next day, what's up? Like, what kind of mouth is that? Sarah would have never talked to Abraham like that. She would have never been like, hey, king, hey. And then the next morning, what's up, Abraham? Hey, I feel something in that. What's up? A little tension. It can't have that sweet talk one moment and then a whatever talk the next moment. It's impossible. Go back to where he was. Proverbs 31:12. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 12. And it reads, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
So she's going to do him good no matter what. So every day she's going to refer to him the same way she did on Monday. So Wednesday come, she's going to refer to him the same way she referred to him on Monday. So on Monday, if she said, hey, I love you, king, that's the same thing she's going to say on Wednesday. And the same thing she's going to say on Thursday. Because she's doing him good. Not, okay, today I'm a little upset, so I'm going to greet him this way. And then if you decide, okay, then, well, I'm going to just greet him this way and not that way, then one way is wrong. I'm going to tell you right now. Because if he's a king, if he's made the sacrifice to become the king, you got to treat him as a king. And if you don't want to treat him as a king, then maybe you shouldn't be there. If it's hard for you to treat a righteous man as a king, maybe you shouldn't be there. Especially if he's doing his due diligence to change and become that king and that righteous man through the words of the Most High. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for you to treat him with respect and be the queen that he needs. Because you can't treat him with respect when you want something. Oh, I'm going to ask him for something today, so I'm going to butter him up. I'm going to get it ready. The moment he come in, I'm going to have it laid out, ready. Hey, you need something? You want this? Then the moment you get what you want, he like the next day, like, hey, what happened to that royal carpet I had yesterday?
Where's she at?
This a whole different thing going on. He walked back outside and look at the door like, am I in the right house? What happened? For real though, it's got to be the same. It's got to be the same. Because that's what makes him want to come home. That's what makes him want to come home and be there, because he sees it. He feels it. He's like, okay, dang, this is my place. verse 14. No, verse 13.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 13. And it reads, She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Verse 14.
So it tells you she worketh willingly with her hand. It's talking about how she sews. Okay, so it's going to break down how she sews. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Go ahead.
She is like the merchant's ships. She brings forth her food from afar.
So she's like a merchant ship. She brings forth her food from afar. So she'll do whatever it takes to feed her family. She's not going to be like, oh, it's too far. I'm not going to go there tonight. Nah. She's going to do whatever it takes to put food on the family's table. Go ahead.
She raiseth while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buy it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good.
She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. What's her merchandise? The clothing that she's making with sewing. She's a sewer. She does things with her hands. She plants food and sells it. So that's why in verse 16 it says she's with fruit of her hands she planted a vineyard. So she plants food, sells it, she makes clothes, sells it. This is how she makes her money. Verse 18.
Verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night.
So just because it's nighttime doesn't mean she lays down. Oh, it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm going to lay it down. And the house is out of order. Nah. She's up until everything is in order for the next day. So not only, she got double duty. So not only is she up until that day is complete, everything is fixed and back in order from that day, then she starts preparing and getting everything ready for the next day. So after dinner that night, she cleans up, gets everything, kids are asleep, gets the house back in order from what they messed up or whatever happened. Back in order, boom, boom, boom. Then she starts preparing for the next day. Get the kids' stuff ready for the next day. Get the husband stuff ready for the next day. That way when everybody wake up, she's already up at the crack of dawn and stuff is already in place for everybody. Boom, 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 boom. But how is she able to do all this? See, nowadays some women be like, I can't do all that. That's too much. By the time I go to work and come home, I'm tired. I can't do all that. Well, let's see what the scriptures say. Go back to 2 Timothy. Titus 2 and 5. Go back to Titus 2 and 5. Let me show you how a woman can do this and not have an excuse. Well, I can't do all that. I'll be too tired to do all that stuff. Titus 2 and 5. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 5. And it reads, To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed.
Keepers at home. Keepers at home means stayer at home. She stays at home. She doesn't work. Her work is what we just broke down in Proverbs. Her work is starting a garden, selling the food, sewing, making clothing, selling the clothing. And what clothing is she making? She's making mitres. She's making fringes. She's making dresses for other women. She's making clothing and selling it. And now since she's at home, she's in the midst to where she can do all this stuff. She's at home all day to where now she's running her business, but then now she can pull away and then cook, clean, get things in order. All right. And then put that on hold and then go start her business. She's at home, so she can do all this. But when you're going out in America's world, Babylon, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to go drop the kids off by 7:30. Now you at work at 8. Don't get off until 5:30, 6 o'clock. By the time you go pick them up from daycare or whoever's watching them, now you get home at 7 o'clock, 7:15. You're rushing to get them fed, showers, everything. Now it's almost 8:30, 9 o'clock by they lay down. You're wore out. How you going to do any of this? How you going to do any of these duties that the Most High is telling you to do when you're too busy doing the duties of Satan? Let me say it again. How are you going to do any of these duties that the Most High has laid out for you when you are always doing the duties of Satan? Satan has taken control of your life and says, do it my way. Forget his way. My way is the right way. And let me tell you a secret. 90% of households are not doing what we're reading. Over the last few years, women have gotten raises. You better come to work. The women now makes more than the man. She better come to work. Just a year ago, I read something to y'all and told y'all that women are getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars to freeze their eggs. Put your eggs on hold and bring your work career first. Jobs are now paying women that are in their 20s to freeze their eggs, work hard until you're 40, don't have no babies, work. Man, lost their mind. Proverbs 31:19. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 19, and it reads, she layeth her hands to the spittle, and her hands hold the distaff.
Talking about her sewing machine. Everything we're reading about right now is talking about her sewing machine. Go ahead.
She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. Verse 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet.
She's not afraid to go in the snow and do what she has to do to keep her household covered. Go ahead.
Verse 22. She maketh herself covering of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
Her husband is known in the gates. Means the woman in the home communicates and she inspires him. Wherever she goes, her communication to people, she's talking good about him. She's inspiring her husband. So when he goes out, he's known in the gates. People know who he is. Her friends, everybody knows who he is. Her family members, everybody knows who he is. They know all the good because when she goes out, she's speaking good things about him. Not when she goes out, she can't wait to get around her friends so she can talk bad about him. Oh yeah, man, I can't wait to tell somebody about this dude. Are you for real? What evil is that? Talking bad about that's where there's no respect. That's why there's no respect. If a woman can even go out and even just fix her lip to talk bad about her husband to another person, that's evil in itself. That's an evil heart. Every time she goes out and she speaks about her husband, it should be good, inspiring. It should make other people want to be around her husband because it's inspiration. That's what it just says. Inspiration. When she goes out, it's like other people are like, dang, I want to meet your husband. He sound like wow. Not no child for real. He did that. That's all bad. But guess what? That's what we got. That's why the question of the day is, who can find one? Verse 24.
Verse 24. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it.
This is her job. Her job is to get the sewing machine and make clothes and sell it. Along with the vineyard and plant food and sell it. This is her job. Go ahead.
And delivereth girdles unto the merchant.
She maketh fine linen, sell it, and then she deliver it to the merchants so they can sell it. That's how she makes her money. She makes clothing, and then she finds a wholesale company that she can sell it to, and then they sell it in their stores. How about that? That's how she operates. Go ahead.
Strength and honor are her clothing.
She takes pride. Now, if a woman wants to have pride, this is where she takes pride. Not have pride towards your husband. If a woman has to have pride, wants to have some type of pride, this is what she takes pride in honor in her clothing that she's making. Go ahead.
She opened.
She shall rejoice.
Oh, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
So her tongue is the law of kindness. So every time she speaks, there's kindness coming out of that tongue. Not evil, kindness. Why? Because wisdom is in her mouth. Go ahead.
She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
She don't eat the bread of laziness. Idleness means laziness. She is not lazy. So since she's not lazy, she can do all these things that we just mentioned. Like I said earlier, women nowadays are finding a reason. Oh, I can't get up. I'm going to do all that. Well, probably because you're idle. You're lazy. But if she don't eat the bread of idleness, she can do everything we just read right here in the scriptures. These scriptures. She can get it done. So the woman's duties, the woman's responsibilities is to provide for her family at home. That's what a woman's responsibility is to provide for her family at home. Not furthering her work career. Oh, I'm going to do everything I can to get moved up at work. Man, they got a position, they got an opening for this manager position coming up in September. I got to do everything I can to get that position. That ain't her job. All right. Her employment was secondary, which was she worked at home. Her employment was secondary, but her true calling is taking care of her husband and her kids. That's what a woman's true calling is: taking care of her husband and her kids, which is her household. And then her employment is second, which is working from the house. Now, I'm not saying that the Most High forbids a woman to go out and work. I'm not saying that. But if a woman is going to decide to go out and work, you best believe she better still be doing all this at home. 100%. Not going out and work and doing this 50%. If she's going to decide to go out and work, all of this right here that we just spoken of still needs to be done. So now she has two jobs because she's working out there, and she still got to come home and sew, plant food, cook, clean, take care of the kids. That's a lot. So if a woman, I'm not saying that she can't have an outside job. If she do, she better be doing all this 100% and doing it well. Titus 2:6. Let's break down the men. So duties of a family. So now we'll break down the duties of a man, how a man should be. Titus 2:6. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 6. And it reads, young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
So it tells you right here that a young man, he needs to do the same. He needs to have a sober mind. So just like the beginning of Titus 2 said to a woman, she needs not to drink strong wine, much wine. All right. Same thing for a man. He don't need to be drinking much wine or being high off some type of drug. Sober-minded means sober-minded. That whether it is drunk, wine, weed, pills, sober-minded means none of that stuff is in your life. But if you're not sober-minded, then this is not talking to you. If you're someone that's not sober-minded, then these scriptures is not talking to you. This is talking to a sober-minded individual. So until you can become sober-minded, these scriptures don't relate to you. Verse 7.
Verse 7. In all things showing thyself a pattern of good works. In doctrines showing uncorruptedness, gravity, and sincerity.
So in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works. So a man needs to have a pattern also. And it should be good works. He should be the same at all times. He shouldn't be moody. One moment he really, hey, baby, hey, and then next moment, if he's one, he should be the same at all times. At all times. All right? And not only been the same at all times, but he should be sincere. He should be able to sit back and say, okay, well, what's the problem? And listen, but you know what? Righteous people get taken advantage of. That's one thing I do know. Righteous people, they get abused with evil, and then the evil turns around and be like, well, I thought you was a man of the Most High. You supposed to, let's not get that twisted. If you keep abusing the man of the Most High, just like the scriptures we read the other night says, he will all of a sudden start what? Despising you. If you do wrong to a man of the Most High, the scripture said he will sooner or later start despising you. Why? Because you continue to bring him out of spirit. Verse 8.
Verse 8. We're in the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 8. And it reads, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you.
So men, do whatever you can to where you're speaking sound doctrine and speaking well at all times to where no one can say bad things about you. All right? That's how you got to live your life. You got to do whatever it takes, change, make the changes to where no one can say bad things about you. Showing good patterns of good work. Verse 9.
Verse 9. Exhort servants to be obedient unto their masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again, not prolonging, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adore the doctrine of the Most High our Savior in all things.
So our job is to not steal. All right? That's what prolonging means. But to always adorn the doctrine of the Most High in all things. So everywhere this man go, his job is to be preaching the word and doing whatever he can to talk to someone and put them in the right direction. Verse 11.
Excuse me. Verse 11. For the grace of the Most High that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men.
So it says salvation comes through all men. That's what that just says. For the grace of a higher that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men. So that's why it's so important that a man needs to get himself in order so he can get his wife in order, who can help get the household in order. All right? Because salvation, which is the word of Yeshaya, sits on the head of men. All right? It's a pecking order. Yasha sits on the head of man, which he's salvation, which bringeth salvation through the man to help sit on the woman, to help her understand what salvation is. 1 Timothy 5 and 8. So you have to understand how it happened. That's where salvation comes from. Salvation comes from Ahia, the Most High. Then he revealed it to his son Yasha. Then Yasha revealed it to men. Then men reveal it to the woman. Then the woman reveals it to the kids. But of course, the man, he reveals it to the whole household. Like I said earlier, he teaches all. But then a woman's job, since she's at home majority of the time all day long with the kids, her job is to instill it in them more all day long. That's her job, daily, 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 because she's at home all day with the kids. That's what she's supposed to be doing. Not teaching them how to walk the ways of Babylon. 1 Timothy 5 and 8. Go ahead.
We in the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8, and it reads, "But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel."
So a man is to provide for his house. That's his job. His job is to provide for his house. All right. The house has to be in order, though. There's not a house if the house is not in order. A man can only provide if everything is happening what we're talking about tonight. That's what a house is. If the woman is doing her part, she's submissive, she's obedient, the man don't have a problem. I promise you, he don't have a problem with providing. But if she's disobedient, she's not following the ways of the Most High, she would rather do the works of Satan, that's the last thing he's thinking about. He don't want to provide for her. He want to do what David was talking about. He want to get away as fast as he can. Go do his own. Like Paul said, that's almost just as good as I'm by myself. So it's a two-way street. In order for a man to provide for the household, it has to be rest, peace, and happiness in the house. It has to be the right spirit to make him want to come home and make him want to get up every morning and go out and bring back the food. A man ain't gonna want to bring food back to a house when there's always Satan there. A man don't want to provide the spirit of Satan. Why am I going to energize Satan and give him food to keep making him become a beast against me? I'm doing everything I can to weaken Satan out. So if Satan is in my house, I'm not going to feed Satan no more. I'm going to do whatever I can to weaken Satan out so when I come home, he's not there no more. But if Satan is in my house every day, and then I keep coming and providing and giving the house whatever it needs and what it wants, then Satan will never leave. Because Satan ain't learned nothing. Satan like, hey, I'm getting everything I want. I run this. So he's just going to get bigger and bigger every day, and he's just going to keep flexing on you. But if you starve Satan out and don't provide and don't give Satan what Satan wants, and Satan now don't have nothing, after a while, Satan will be like, no, I don't want to be here no more. I don't like this house. He's going to get on up out of there. Genesis 2 and 15. So you have to understand how it works. It works in a way to where you have everything has to be in order for everything to click. And like I say, going back to Wednesday's lesson, the stuff we talked about on Wednesday, it goes with tonight's lesson. It has to be clicking. It's got to be clicking. The way you talk to each other, the way you communicate. That's what Wednesday's lesson is about. So you got to be able to talk and communicate the right way if you want all this other stuff to click. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 15. And it reads, "And the Most High Ahiah took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it."
So a man's job is to go out and work. So from the beginning, that's what Adam's job was. His job was to go out in the garden and everything and keep all that clean. There wasn't much else for him to do. So that's what his job was to upkeep the garden and do everything else. But now that we have real jobs down to where we go out and do things, now a man's duties have kind of changed. All right. Ephesians 4 and 28. We get to the end, so I'm going to go through these last few precepts kind of fast. Ephesians 4:28. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 28. And it reads, let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
So it says, let him that stole steal no more. So if you know, I know people that steal to go pawn something to get money. No, don't do that. Don't be one of them people. But rather let him labor. Go out and work for what you need. For what you need. Working with his hands, the things which is good, that he may have to give to him that need it. So go work with your hands, labor, so you can go help someone else out. All right, Proverbs 13:11. So a man is to go out and work hard. He is to go out and labor. It don't tell a woman to go out and labor. It tells a man he needs to go out and labor. All right, and man, when it tells you to go out and take care of your family, this is not talking about selling drugs to provide for your family. It's not telling you to do that. It's telling you to go out and work hard. Not, all right, I'm gonna sell drugs, or I'm gonna gamble and hustle and make money, and then now I can take care of my family. It's not telling you to do it in that way. It's telling you to go out and work hard for your money. Proverbs 13:11. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 11. And it reads, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase.
So wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished. So if you make money through the wrong way, which is vanity, which is selling drugs and all that other stuff, hustling, it's going to diminish. Something's going to happen. You're going to get caught up and go to jail, and it's going to stop. But he that gathered by labor shall increase. So him that goes out and labor and work hard, his wealth will increase. If he goes out and work hard, his wealth will increase. But if he does it the wrong way, hustling, trying to do it the easy way, then it's going to diminish. The Bible is telling the man to get up and go out and work hard. Proverbs 12:11. So don't be that guy that's always trying to find the easy way to make money. Well, I gotta take care of my family, man. So I'm gonna go sell everything I got in my closet. What's that gonna do? You sell everything you got in your closet, and once that money's gone, what you gonna sell now? TVs? All right. You gonna sell the furniture? Now y'all got nowhere to sit. Just gonna keep selling? No, get up and go work and keep the furniture in the house so she can decorate it and put it in the right order. Don't be that dude that's like, oh, I gotta go sell some stuff. Hey, I got an extra cell phone. I'm gonna go sell it today. Gotta make some money. That's worthless. Proverbs 12:11. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 11. And it reads, he that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread.
He that tilleth his land, work, labor. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread. Go ahead.
But he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding.
So someone that follows a vain individual will be void of understanding. Go ahead.
Verse 12. The wicked desire the net of evil men, but the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit.
So if you're righteous and you're doing right, you will gain fruit. That means you will gain money. You will build. But the wicked desire the net of evil. So if you're doing right, the Most High will flourish you. He will bless you. 2 Thessalonians 3:10. So if you got individuals that are like, man, I'm always struggling, man, it's just all bad. Well, man, maybe it's something you're doing wrong. Because the Most High says, I'm going to bless my people to where they can help take care. But you got to understand, when he bless you, you got to help take care of others. You got to do right. The Most High is not going to bless you until he knows you're going to do right with the blessings. So men, don't be lazy and try to sit around the house all day with your wife. Oh yeah, she got a sewing company, man. She making money off of sewing and planting, so I'm gonna just chill at home with her and let her make the money. Nah, because all that's gonna do is make you lazy, and then you gonna become the gossiper. You gonna be sitting at home watching TV shows, becoming lazy and gossiping. No, it tells a man, even though she's at home making her secondary money, her money, you're to still get out and go. Don't leech off of what she's doing. Go ahead.
We're in the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 10. And it reads, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither shall he eat.
Mm-hmm.
For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies.
So if a man don't work, he don't have the right to eat. Now I can see if he loses his job and he's in the process of finding something, but if he's just lazy and he's just not even trying, he don't even deserve to eat. The Most High said that's a disorder. Verse 11 said I heard that you got some of these people walking among us, a disorder. Working not at all, but he'd rather be a busybody. He'd rather sit at home and watch hip hop of New York or whatever those shows is, Atlanta. Men busybodies. He know everything about TV shows, but don't know nothing about how to pay a bill or take care of his family. Proverbs 6:6 tells us not to do that. We got about 5 minutes left. You can't be lazy. A man is not to be lazy. He is to get up and go out and handle his business. Proverbs 6:6. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise.
Sluggard means lazy. Sluggard means lazy. And it says, go to the ant. What does it mean? Go learn the way of the ant. Y'all see them ants out there? We laugh at them. We try to crush them. Now them ants are smart. They out there getting it in. Go be like an ant. Don't be lazy. Consider her ways. Consider the ways of an ant, you lazy man. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Which having no God, overseer, or ruler. Verse 8. Provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest.
So it says she provides her meat in summer. She provides her meat in summer, but she gathers her food in the harvest. All right, so they know how to prepare. They know how to get their food in one season, and then when they know they can't come out in the colder months, they already got all their food ready. It's ready to go. That's why you only see ants certain times of the year. You don't see ants all year long. And when you do see them, every time you see an ant, what is it doing? It's carrying some food. It's trying to get to some food, or it's already carrying some food. And you will never see an ant sitting in the corner eating the food. An ant don't go find food and start eating it and look at another ant walk by and be like, give me that. Like birds do. You see a bird eat food, then you see another bird come around trying to peck at it. They be like, maybe both. And you will never see an ant eating food. If someone in here has ever seen an ant eating some food, tell me. Because you haven't. You always see an ant with food and it's taking it back somewhere, doing everything he can. Watch it. You're like, look, you just be amazed. You're like, look at that ant. The food, piece of food, be bigger than that. And then go. Because they got to get it back to the hole. It's preparation. They are taught to go get the food and bring it back. And then when we can't go out no more, When it's too cold for us, now we got so much food in here to where we can survive and last until it's time for us to come up again. We're not going to come up for months. So now that we're down in the ground and we can't come up, we got enough food down here. And you better not eat that piece of food just like in Nimrod that you better not drop that brick. So that's how it was with the ants. You better not take a bite of that. All right, Proverbs 20:4. So we have to be the same way. We have to be prepared. So when we're working, we have to save money. We have to be prepared. Why? For bad times. When bad times occur, that way when hard times do show up, you'll be able to handle it. But if you're somebody, the moment you get money, it's gone. Then when a hard time come up, you're struggling and stressing and calling people. What's the reason to get up and go work every single day? And then when a hard time comes, you can't even do nothing about it. Ain't that the whole reason to work? Huh? The whole reason to work is when something comes up, you can't handle it. You're spinning your wheels. What's the reason why you're working there? That means you might as well just quit. This don't make no sense to me. Something come up, you can't even take care of it, and you work like a mad person every day, all week long. That don't make sense to me. But if you was like the ant, to where you prepare and you saving and putting money away, and then something comes up, you can take care of it. You're doing right. Proverbs 20:4. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 4. And it reads, "The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest."
So the sluggard will not stop working just because it's cold. That way, now when it's time to eat, he's begging somebody because he decided to take a month off because it was cold outside, or take a week off. Like, so it get cold outside, and people like, man, I work outside, I can't work this week. And then when it's time to pay bills at the end of the month, man, I missed that week of work, man, I need some help. Nah, the ant don't do that. All right, that ain't how we work. But that's what the sluggard do. The lazy man will do that. The lazy man will say it's too cold to go outside, so I'm not gonna work today. Proverbs 13:4. Getting down to the last few precepts. That's a lazy man at a talk. It's bad weather today, man, so I ain't gonna work today. We work outside. We get upset when the rain comes and try to take us out of there. We like, man, serious? We do whatever it takes. So we know we gotta get her done. Do you know how many times in the last 3 weeks we could have just called off and said, let's not work today? Well, we didn't though. We found a way to get out there and make it happen because we know at the end of the week it's time to eat. You know, and if you're taking all them days off, it's fun while you're taking them off. But when it's time for that day when you used to getting that money to take care of bills, it ain't the same. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 4. And it reads, "The soul of the sluggard desireth, and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat."
So the soul of him who wishes, all right, desire. That's what it means. The soul of the sluggard who wishes had nothing. So he wished he had this. I want this. I wish this, but don't want to go out and work for it. But the soul of the determined, which is the diligent, all right, shall be made fat. So the soul of the person that works hard will be made fat. That's what it just says. So an individual who gets up and go out and work hard, he's going to be made fat. The Most High is going to bless that individual. But the person that's lazy and just sit around and hope and want for stuff, he's going to have nothing. 24 and 30, stay in Proverbs. We stay in Proverbs for these last few precepts. Proverbs 24 and 30. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 30. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 30. And it reads, I went by the field of the slothful.
Slothful and sluggard. Same thing. Go ahead.
And by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and needles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
So I went by the field of the slothful, the lazy man. I went by the field of the lazy man, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. So it says, I went by the vineyard, the farm of a man who was lazy and was void of understanding. And when I went by it, his farmland was grown over with thorns and nettles and everything else. Nothing was upkeep. It looked horrible when we went by this because he's a lazy man. Verse 32. So it's almost the same as if a man has a house and his yard, you might be like, man, for real? A man's supposed to upkeep his yard, is supposed to look good. It's supposed to be weeds this high growing through the sidewalk of his yard. That's his job, is to keep the upkeep of that. And that way neighbors can say, hey man, you always out there. When I had a house, do you understand my neighbors, they be looking at me crazy because I would be sweeping the street. Like in front of my house, I would sweep the street in front of my house, and people were like, what is he out there doing? I would keep my sidewalk and my curb and my street clean. I would sweep it twice a week. My neighbors they were all like, what are you? Like, man, that's just who I was. That's what I do. I hate seeing debris and stuff everywhere. Go ahead.
We're still in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 32. And it reads, Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. Verse 34. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
So yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So the moment you become lazy, poverty will come. That's what it just says. The moment you decide to sleep more, slumber, get a little lazy, fold the hands, you don't want to work, poverty will arise. All right. Last scriptures of the night, Proverbs 10:4. So a man should always want to go out and work. A man should always want to go out and get his hands going to bring and provide for his family. The moment the man gets lazy, women, you should be worried. The moment your man starts saying, I'm not going to go to work today, you give him the benefit of the doubt for one day. Then the next day, I'm not feeling too good, I'm sick. Okay, all right. But then the moment that kind of, you be like, hold on, dude, you gonna get up out of here? And he ain't trying to work. You need to start worrying. Proverbs 10:4, because poverty is on its way. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 4, and it reads, He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand.
So you will become poor if you deal with a lazy hand, a slack hand. You don't want to get them more going and get them moving, you will become poor. Go ahead.
But the hand of the diligent maketh rich.
So someone that want to go out and work, and he's always going, he's going, up every day, going, he will get there. All right, but you got to understand, Babylon rich is not what the Most High wants. The Most High is going to provide for his people to where you have enough to eat, you have enough to provide for your family clothing, and you have enough to help out others. That's why I said earlier, the Most High is only going to bless certain people with money because he knows they're going to do right with it. The Most High ain't going to just go out and bless whoever with it and knowing this individual going to be at the casino every other night. or knowing this individual gonna be at the mall every other day, buying $500 worth of outfits and stuff. He ain't gonna bless that individual. But the Most High will bless a righteous man when he knows the righteous man is going to do right with it. Verse 5.
Verse 5. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame.
So just like the ant provides in the summer. We have to do the same thing. That's the hottest month. But guess what? That's when you really go in. That's when you work hard. Not just because it's hot. And y'all all know this past summer I started a moving company. Do you realize how hot it was in them trucks? At any given moment, I could just be like, I'm not doing this. It was hot in them trucks. But guess what? I was probably working like 5-6 jobs a day. That's when I was going the hardest. And now it's built to where it takes care of itself. Because of the hard work I put in the hot months. Because why? The cold months, it slowed down. It slowed down big time. But all the hard work of the summertime is kept everything above water. All right. So with that in mind, we'll close it out. Hopefully, you understand, just through the Spirit, hopefully there's just a little more understanding. See, through these lessons, it's not supposed to bring a drastic change right now, but it shall bring some understanding to where you know how to operate to change. And like I say, when you put this together with Wednesday's lesson, and then you start, just like the information I brought at the beginning of the lesson about China, when you start putting that together with some of the other stuff we've been bringing over the last couple of weeks, it'll start making sense. So you just got to start putting a lot of these lessons together in order for it to make sense for you. But the Spirit comes to me and do these type of things so now you can put it in the household. And that's all I want to see happen. I want to see the households get better, because we are in that time to where if the household ain't in order, it's going to be some problems, you guys. And I think we're waiting just a little. People are too comfortable. I've been watching it for a while to where the households are a little too comfortable. We're too relaxed, like we got time. We don't have time. We have to get what I talked about tonight, Wednesday, and other lessons down right now. They have to happen now, you guys. You got to want it, though. Everybody's got to want it. The husband's got to want it. The wife's got to want it. The kids got to want it. But the kids, they will start wanting it once they see the mom want it. And once they see the mom want it, which is the wife want it, then it's a big effect. But everybody has to want it. It can't be no force fed. Husband can't be making the wife do these things. And then vice versa. A wife can't be making a husband go out and work. Everybody has to want to do their part. And once everybody wants to do their part, then it makes the household fall into place. All right? So it's a Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Let's pray it out.